Buck. Number 10, Spencer Bosworth. Number 12, Harvey Solly. Number 19, the player gaffer, Danny Hollands. Would you please welcome onto the pitch your two teams, Poole Town and your very own Gospel Borough!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Gosport Radio. My name is James. Nice to meet you if you haven't listened before, but today we are returning back for live coverage of today's FA Cup clash where Gosport hosts Poole Town. I know many people, when they saw this draw, their eyes lit up straight away because it is such a massive draw. Poole Town managers, former Gosport, Poole Town players, so many ex-Gosport players in that lineup to mention. We will talk you through both sets of teams now, starting with the visitors. Starting in goal is another former Gosport number one. He started 15 times for us last season, that being Adam Parks. 2, Josh McCormick. 8, Charlie Davis. 4, Josh Staunton. 3, Ryan Campbell. 6, Billy Lowes. 17, Harvey Slade. 16, Slim Saeed. 10, IK Hill. 7, Chris Campbell, another former Gosport player. And 9, Shaquille Gwenge. And 19 on the bench today, 19, Henry Curtis. 20, Henry Spalding, a former Gosport player. 15, Harry Lee, former Gosport player. You won't believe it, another former Gosport player. 22, Antonio Diaz. And 11, Scott Rolls. As for Gosport, they have had to make an enforced change in the goalkeeping unit, where 13, Romy Ashby Hammond, comes in for an injured Ryan Hall. However, if needed, Ryan Hall is on the bench today. 2, Benny Reid. 3, and your captain, Rory Williams. 5, Joe Morrison. 8, Adam Tommaso. 9, Dan Wooden. 11, Rafa Ramos, who was the hero on Wednesday night against Wimborne. 14, Kaya Shucker, another one of the players to play for both Gosport and Poole Town earlier in his career. 17, Ronaldo Krasnicki. 21, Ben Greenwood. And 24, Trevor Caborn, who has been a real standout performer this year. Jeremy, what a crash we've got for you, the listeners today.
Yeah, quite. Good afternoon, James. Good afternoon, listeners. Yeah, absolutely. It's FA Cup football at its purest. And what could be better than reuniting friends of old? Not welcome back to Joe, Pat, and Olivia, and all the ex-Gosport players that have come here with Paul this afternoon. And it kind of, even though there's 50 miles and about an hour between the two clubs, it's got all the hallmarks of a local derby, really, because of that. There are very few secrets between the teams today, James, and I expect both teams to be clued up on the other tactically. And here we go.
And the game is officially underway. It was Harvey Slade kicking us off in the half. As he passes left into the far side there, it's gone into Ryan Campbell, and Paul just playing it out from the back. And Jeremy, I was speaking to Mark Summerhill before this game, and he mentioned how it's such a weird one in the sense of how do you actually prepare for a game when you know literally half the players and the managers so well?
Yeah, I think it's where complacency could creep in because, yes, you know them as well as they know you. But then you've got to be aware of the unexpected, that X factor, if you like, that might have changed. So yeah, I think it's just going to be.
Oh, Rory Williams firing a deep ball there. Looked like it was going to reach Rafa Ramos, but it was Staunton there, the last defender back for Poole Town, doing well. And now it looks like Poole Town were on the break there. Slim Saeed coming down that right-hand channel, but he was caught in his track there by Krasnicki. And Krasnicki resiliently trying to get off of Chris Campbell, and the former Gosport man coming forward, laying a pass right into Slim Saeed on this near side, but Kaya Shucker kicks it out for a throw-in. Already early press there from Poole Town.
Yeah, I think that we know that's Joe and Pat's favourite tactic, don't we? Because they had Gosport very well drilled in it last season and the season before, so that's no surprise to me. But certainly, I think you're going to have a fairly frantic, frenetic, and urgent start here, James.
Well, I must say the AI Stadium is booming today. Can I tell you, Jeremy? Look around. There's a whole lot of football fans, but none like the Borough fans. The yellow shirts, they're shining so bright today.
Yes, they are. But it's also nice to see the Poole fans make it, because we are aware that there was an accident with a rail replacement bus on the way up, in which I understand a number of Poole fans were on, but not hurt, thankfully. So it's good. It'd be nice to see them here. So that adds to the spice, I think, when you have so many away fans as well.
Definitely, and it's made for a great atmosphere within the first few minutes here at the AI Stadium. But going back to play, Poole have been given a free kick on the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, just a two-man Gosport wall in front of him. It is going to be the
Davis.
number 8, Davis, standing over it. Will he go for a shot? He goes for a low-driven shot, and it's off the post. Slim Side tries to follow it up, but that's an early test for Ashley Hammond, and he's been beaten by Gospel on the counter. It was Caborn coming forward there for the home side. Just couldn't play Rafa Ramos through on goal there, but that's an early attempt straight away there for Poole.
Yeah, and that shows you how clever a player Davis is. Obviously, we had him here at Gosport a few seasons ago. Vastly experienced player now and still an asset for whoever he plays for, showing his experience there and craft. He just caught everybody out there, didn't he?
Well, the ball is going to come into the near side, into McCormick. McCormick headed it straight into Rory Williams, and now Greenwood on the ball. He passes left into Kyle Shucker, who's going to come down on this touchline before he passes back into Ben Greenwood. But yeah, for anyone tuning in, it has kicked off here at the EAI Stadium. It is Gosport hosting Poole Town. And I must say, it's more or less Gosport versus Gosport B team today, because there is so many Gosport players. I cracked the joke earlier.
That's the joke, and in their eyes, they'll probably say it's, they'll probably reverse it. But yes, to be fair, it's nice to see so many familiar faces come back. And Adam Parks, Charlie Davis, and Chris Campbell, and Henry Curtis, Harry Lee, Antonio Diaz. Yeah, the list goes on really. And then off the pitch, of course.
Well, especially on the bench, I'm sure we'll see a few familiar faces return in the second half. Kyle Shucker winning his aerial duel against McCormick before Ben Greenwood just came in behind him, hacking the ball high into the sky, and it looks like it just went over the stadium. And McCormick down there, I thought he might have just had a few issues early on.
He'll be all right. Yeah, the ball's been launched over the back of the main stand into Privet Place. On what I call the dark side, because it certainly takes a while for those footballs to come back. But anyway, jokes to one side, I think even in this first 5 minutes, you can't really call this.
Nah. Well, IK Hill, he's got the ball in the right-hand channel, but Ben Greenwood, the Farnborough loanee, snatches it off the former Winchester man, and another ball just landing on top of the stadium, and now going on to the Gosport technical box.
And palmed away by Stuart down there, most definitely. But anyway, it's the lighter moments that make an afternoon as well.
Well, Jeremy, I've got to talk to you about the Gosport technical box today, because today our manager, Danny Hollins, is on the bench, so he could potentially make a cameo today.
He's still a registered player, so yeah, why not indeed? You're allowed 7 subs for FA Cup matches, so yeah, fill the bench, and I'm sure he's still got what it takes. I know he's not as regular a starter as he used to be, but you cannot replace the experience he brings to the party.
Staunton on the halfway line. He brushes a pass left into Campbell, the former Swindon Supermarine man. As it goes back to Staunton, and Staunton just was charged down there by Rafa Ramos, the goal scorer on Wednesday night. And Jeremy, let's talk a little bit about Wednesday and Rafa Ramos, because at last it looks like Rafa's finally found his feet.
Perfect finish, wasn't it? Away on the goal away to our right. It was, really, really well taken finish, and it proved to be the decisive one in the game. But Gosport, that's history now, and here's a challenge possibly sterner than Wimborne, if you can have such a thing. Wimborne were a stern challenge that was met and overcome, but then when you have a Poole Town team managed by 2 ex-Borough favourites and full of ex-Borough favourites, that's probably harder. No disrespect to Wimborne intended.
A low-driven cross has come in. It's found Joe Morrison inside his own box as he hacks the ball away. It's going to be chased down by Rafa Ramos, the former Poole striker, and he has done well enough to win a free kick just on the edge of the centre circle inside his own half. It's going to be taken by Adam Tommaso. Instead, actually, he leaves it for Rory Williams to take. The captain with so much experience to his name.
Absolutely. I mean, on either side, you've got the key players, and Rory Williams, with his experience, is possibly Gosport's most valuable player today, alongside Wooden up front, I would suggest. Again, no disrespect, but when you've got a game that's likely to be as fiery as this one could be, you need cooler heads out there, and those two certainly provide it.
Do you see it getting fiery today?
Not in a nasty way, no, but it'll certainly be hard fought, and I think it'll certainly be competitive. Now, obviously, sometimes cup ties do tip over into that, but I sincerely hope that doesn't happen. So I just think it'll be fiery in the good way.
Shade inside his own half, being put on heavy pressure there by Adam Tommaso, but Shade dealt well with it there. And now the purple body streaming forward, McCormick on this near side, up against Ben Greenwood. And Ben Greenwood just puts the pressure on, allowing for Kyle Shucker to intercept the ball before he deals it back into Staunton on the halfway line. So far, it's Poole dealing all the heavy pressure so far. Campbell on the far side, laying it into IK Hill. And IK Hill, he's had a great start to the season since signing from Winchester. I'm not sure if you saw his free kick against Farnham last week.
I did.
It was special.
Yeah, it's classy. A classy goal from a classy player. Well, look, we know about IK Hill from his days at Winchester last season, where he tore us apart in the Christmas game here against them, didn't he? Man of the match, 2 goals, job done. But I seem to remember there was another Winchester player on the pitch that day that is now playing for us. So
that was the perfect link there, Jeremy.
Yeah, Trevor Caborn was the other goal scorer that day. But IK Hill, well, he's a class act, and Poole, that was their marquee signing of the summer.
Well, you know the saying, if you can't beat them, sign them.
Sign them or join
and
them.
I think Pat and Joe know that saying all too well.
Yes, they do.
But Poole Town, they've got a corner on the far side. It looks like it's going to be Charlie Davis, I think, taking it. The man who did come close to taking the lead. Can he turn provider this time? It's in towards the front post. Flicked back there by Staunton. It's gone into Rory Williams. And Shade still battling for it before eventually Rory Williams has cleared it into Trevor Caborn inside his own half. But Caborn just slipping there. And for Poole to win back possession. But Kaya Shaka wins it inside his own half. He plays a free ball into Trevor Caborn. Caborn might be throwing goal. He goes for a dink. Can it work into a pass into Rafa Ramos? And Rafa Ramos fires it into the side netting. But that's what Gosport can do on the counter. Rapid. And we saw it against Wimborne. Caborn's speed used into full effect there. Unfortunately, Rafa just couldn't get onto the end of that pass there.
Yeah, the square ball across to him was just a bit too powerful, and the angle was getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and it became an increasingly difficult chance to finish. But that's good from Gosport. It just shows that they can catch Poole unawares. And I was just going to make an observation that tactically, Danny and Glenn should know how Joe and Pat favour set-piece tactics. We saw it at the corner. It was an oh-so-familiar corner set play from what we saw when they were managing Gosport last season. So, but I imagine they're 2 very shrewd guys. I imagine they're probably varying it a bit, but that's one I remember from the playbook last season.
Slade inside the centre circle. He brushes a pass right into Davis. And now back to Staunton. Poole just playing it out from the back. Campbell slipping at a pivotal moment there. Looked like Massa might have been able to pounce, but Poole recovering well. Joe Morrison hacking a ball into the Poole half there. And Jeremy, I just want to take a minute here just to admire Adam Parks, because he did a great job with us last season. In between the sticks today for Poole Town, but he was superb last season for Gosport.
Yeah, and it's lovely to see him back because he's a nice lad with it. Because when he turned up, he was given a hard time by the Gosport Borough fans, very unfairly, I thought, based on one performance when he was a visiting keeper in Taunton Town. And they were not prepared to cut him some slack. But I think he gradually won people over with a string of decent performances last season. Now, yes, he had the odd clanger in him, I'll admit, but generally speaking, he was match winner, match saver more than he was a match loser. So, and Poole have got themselves a good little keeper.
And I think he also fits Pat and Joe's philosophy probably a lot more to Dutchies. I'm going to break away as Poole just floated the ball over the Gosport back line there, but Rory Williams tracked back well to clear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's well known that players follow managers. It's well known in football, of course it is, especially at our level and below. And geographically, it's better for him as well that he's further west, because we know he lives in the West Country. So playing for a Dorset-based club makes geographical good sense for him. So yeah, and if he's happy, then I wish him well.
Well, it's Campbell on the far side trying to thread the ball forward into IK Hill, but well cut out there by Greenwood. And Gosport once again looking to counter through Caborn. Caborn chips it to Rafa Ramos. Ramos heading it across. Candan wouldn't get onto the end of it, just shouting in frustration because he narrowly was unable to. It was Davis there doing his defensive duties, passing it back into Staunton. And Davis just looks like a little bit of an all-rounder. Can do it up front, can do it back as well.
Well, we know all about him. As I said, he was playing here under the likes of Craig McAllister and Lee Molyneux, and that was 5 years ago. So imagine that's 5 years of extra experience the player brings to Poole Town today. I will just say that if you are joining us, it's 0-0 here, 12 minutes on the clock here at the AI.
Joe Morrison threading the ball into Dan Wooden. It's a little bit of a heavy touch, but he does well to keep it in Gosport possession, looking to offload it into Kaya Shaka, but a purple shirt did just knock it back into McCormick here on the near side. Shaka looking to press up a little bit further, and I have noticed that Kaya Shaka looks to be playing more of a left wing role today rather than centrally.
Yeah, they've obviously adjusted their tactics to suit, and that comes as no surprise to me. Because, as we've adhered to earlier on, the two sets of managers know each other very, very well. So I'd imagine they've changed things around to sort of suit the other's tactics. And then it's down to you to try and outfox your opposition, isn't it?
100%. And that's what it comes down to today. It's like what I was chatting with Mark Summerhill. So for any of the listeners tuning into the highlights after the game, more or less repeating what you said, this game is going to come down to chances. I don't think there'd be too many chances in today's game.
No, I think it's going to come down to one moment, one mistake.
Exactly that.
And tip the balance either way. I think it's going to be exactly like that.
Well, Poole, they were on the attack on the far side, but Benny Reid doing his defensive duties. Another high ball, this time over the Harry Mitson stand. And you can really hear the Gosport fans, hopefully through the microphone in full voice. Underneath the new stand today, let's take a little bit of appreciation for that.
Yeah,
smart.
The ground looks fantastic now. It looked good to start with, but now with the new stands away to our left at the park end, it looks even better. And I do think that we now have a home to be proud of. Not that we ever didn't, but certainly in my 30 years at the club, I've never seen it like this, ever. You dreamt of having stands on all four sides, but now you've actually got it.
Well, it's credit to how much this club's grown over the recent years for any new listeners. And you could probably make the same argument for Poole Town, another team really looking to go on the up. But I'm going to take you back to the game because our new keeper, Romy Ashby-Hammond, just slipped there. He was in poor position, to be honest.
It wasn't his fault, to be fair. I thought the back pass was poor and put him under pressure. And then, yes, he slipped on the pitch, which, despite the fact we haven't had any rain since lunchtime, I imagine it's still very
quite slippery.
Still very greasy out there, I'd imagine, yeah.
Well, luckily, the sun has come back out for this first half. I'm not sure it will stay like this for the second half. It would be nice if it does. But it does look like, to be fair, the ball's moving very nicely on this new Astro. And Gosport's still trying to get used to it as well, this new pitch. If you watch the highlights on Wednesday night, it just looked like for a lot of the game, the pitch wasn't dealing that well with the water at times. Quite soggy.
The rain we've had this week has just been biblical, isn't it? It's been like the end of the world, especially this morning.
Terrible.
So, you know, even though it's 4G, it's still going to hold a fair amount of water, isn't it?
Poole Town in possession. It's Campbell on the far side on the halfway line. And Jeremy, I think I can speak for... Oh, a ball has been floated over. It's brought down by Campbell, but it's clear offside there.
Yeah.
With Campbell's experience, you thought he would have timed his run a bit better there. Because it was clear as day.
You're not always going to get it right, are you? And I think you've got to bear in mind the wind is making it interesting out there. If you look at the trees opposite us, our commentary position, you'll see the wind's quite strong. And I think that's making it interesting. So if you're playing a long ball over the top like that, and the wind holds it up, you've made the run ahead of the ball, and you're offside straight away.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, it's Rafa Ramos there, quite deep into the Poole half, heading towards goal. No power though, really behind the header, so it was a pretty easy one for Adam Parks to gather. Now Poole looking to come down through the left-hand channel. Slim side did have the ball, but just ran it out of play on the far side. It's going to see Benny Reid take this throw. And for any fans tuning in at the moment, it still is Gosport 0, Poole Town 0. Hasn't really been too many concrete chances,
just
other than the one in the first.
Well, actually, the one for
like
Poole
first
as well.
5 minutes, really.
Yeah, Charlie Davis's free kick, which nearly caught everybody out, and then the combination of Cable and Ramos at the other end about 5 or so minutes later.
Krasniki coming forward. He brushes the pass left into Kyle Shocker. Shocker down this left-hand channel. He's got reinforcements coming.
That's
but
nice.
Shocker deals in across. It's headed by Cable, but it's a good save by Parks there, who had to fly to his left to make it. And he did well to actually gather it and keep hold of it. Obviously, a slippy ball.
I think the save was more difficult than it looked from up here, to be fair. He didn't have a lot of chance to react, but react he did, and a fine save was made. 0-0.
And Jeremy, I think I speak on behalf of every Gosport fan here when I just want to see a good cup run, really.
Yeah, you do. Of course you do. And you want to see a good, intriguing cup tie at every stage, like this one. This one, I think, is the script couldn't have been written better when the draw was made and Poole came through their replay against Didcot. Because if you think about it, did you want this or did you want Didcot? And no disrespect to them at all, because I've been there many times. They're a lovely club, but would you want this or would you want the other one? What's the more exciting?
Exactly.
And no disrespect at all, I mean by that.
Krasniki on the floor, getting lost in it. before play does eventually resume. Slade inside the Gosport half, playing it left into Campbell. And Campbell, another player we haven't really talked too much about in this broadcast yet, but we saw him at Swindon Supermarine. I remember watching him a few times last season, and he's just a bit of a baller down that left-hand side, to be honest.
Yeah, he is, certainly. Right, well, anyway, let's see how this goes, James, eh?
Well, Benny Reid went sliding in there to stop Slim Slide progressing any further up the field there. As Slade, he has it inside the Gosport half. Around midway inside this half. Campbell now. And the ball just played out left into Saeed. He's got space and he just tried to thread it through there into IK Hill. Not really great communication because the pass just fell straight to Benny Reid, who had a lot of time to clear his lines there. Just a little bit of lapse of concentration there from the two Poole men.
It's going to happen throughout the 90 minutes. Every player's going to have those. You just hope it's not at a critical moment and with critical consequence.
I don't think too much was made of that there in the end. Gosport with a throw-in which Benny Reid will be taken. The former Shoaling man. It's a long throw and it's going to find a head of Adam Tommaso, who nods it back into Trevor Caborn on the halfway line. Caborn gets it through into Rafa. Krasniki's calling for the pass, but instead Rafa passes it across into Ben Greenwood. Greenwood left into Kai Shucker on the touchline. He's got Greenwood arriving on the overlap, but Shucker's going to go alone. Turner McCormick deals in the cross. Can it hit the back post? It can't. It hit the head of Caborn unexpectedly, and Poole have cleared their lines for IK Hill. IK Hill hitting it across into Gwenge. Gwenge with a little bit of a heavy touch, allowing Caborn to win it back right at the penalty box. Caborn's pass does find Benny Reid. Benny Reid lined up a shot there, hit Staunton, and then went straight into Adam Parks. A half chance there.
Didn't really connect, did he? It's a shame, really. But I'd say exactly right. It's a half chance and a half chance only. But again, that's where Gosport are being persistent and perseverant, and they are. And they're not letting Poole settle in defence. They're not letting them get the ball away, and the pressure's on. And you never know, that could fall kindly to you as it did there.
Well, Poole Town, they have still got possession, passing it to Chris Campbell on the halfway line. But Ben Greenwood doing so well in his duels so far against Chris Campbell. Such a tricky winger Chris Campbell is. Really probably should be playing at a higher level.
Yes, and of course he's still London-based, but he's always traditionally and historically linked up with Joe and Pat. He was here, of course, for half a season, and Al, perhaps. But if he's happy at Poole, here we are.
A ball was threaded over the Poole back line there, well gathered by Adam Parks, just in a better position compared to Rafa Ramos. Obviously, the goalkeeper had the advantage of using his hands. I think Rafa's probably a similar height, though, to Adam Parks. And Poole Town, they're on the attack down this left-hand channel. Is Saeed, left of the 18-yard box, leaves it for IK Hill. Hill back into Saeed. Saeed goes for a low-driven pass, and Rory Williams had to do well there, ensuring he hit the pass left of the penalty post instead of right of it, because there's so many times where that could have gone in the back of his own net, Rory Williams.
Yeah, that gave me a nervous moment, I'm not going to lie. But now Gosport have to defend a Poole corner from the left. 20 minutes on the clock, still goalless.
But it's going to be Davis once again taking this corner from the far side. Already hit the post once this afternoon. His other corner did cause damage. Can this one cause damage? It falls Staunton, and Staunton lined up the shot there, drilling it wide of the post.
Yeah, he was trying to flick it around, wasn't he? He's just a deft
trying to curl
it around and just catch the keeper at his near post, but it lacked the accuracy and it went safely out for the goal kick.
But so far, every time Davis has been on that set piece, he's been causing damage towards that Gosport back line.
Yes, I'll tell you one player who's having a reasonably quiet game for Poole for me so far, and that is IK Hill.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean he won't later, so let's not hex it.
Yeah, don't want to jinx anything too yet. We've had this problem last year in the FA Cup. I think that came through the graphic, full-time graphic. I remember it vividly, actually, now. The curse of the commentator.
Yeah, well, we do that sometimes, don't we?
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's unusual, of course, just while Poole are playing it around their own back line, to see a segregated game. I believe it's the first time ever we've done it here at the AI.
So history in the making today.
Right opposite, away to our left. And you've got an orange and yellow line of stewards between them and the Gosport Borough fans on the other side of the fence.
Adam Tommaso with a ball inside the centre circle. brushing it back into Rory Williams. Williams with a diagonal crossfield pass into Caborn. Caborn in space. He's going to be charged down now by Campbell on the far side. But Caborn just passes back into Tommaso, and Tommaso lays it right into Benny Reid. Caborn coming down this right-hand channel. 20 yards out, passes back into Reid. Reid delivers across. It finds Dan Wooden, but Dan Wooden can't properly control it. Krasnicki now winning it back for Gosport outside the Poole Town box. Caborn right of the 18-yard box. Stepping over, laying off a pass. It can't quite find Rafa Ramos. Cleared into the sky there by Davies, but it's been brought down by Caborn. Caborn really been everywhere down that right-hand side.
Gosport.
And he's really found new life as well, Caborn.
Yeah, Gosport's man of the match for me thus far, with 23 minutes on the clock. I think he's been all over the place today, and in a good way rather than a bad way. And Poole haven't found an answer to him yet. But again, though, in terms of possession, in terms of chances, in terms of momentum, it's 50-50. There's nothing in it.
But then again, I think that's what you want in a cup run.
Yeah.
In order, just an interesting game where it can go any way.
Well, I've said from the outset, and if anyone's just joined us, I'll repeat it for their benefit. I do think this is a cup tie that will literally come down to one moment or one mistake on either side. I really do think that.
Well, Rafa Ramos, he could potentially be the man to cause that mistake. He was charging down Davis there, but Davis so cool and composed, passing it left into Staunton. And this is where Parks does need to be careful, because we saw him in that similar position, so far out of his 18-yard box, giving it away to the opposition. But that is where Gosport can capitalise if they do put the pressure on the Poole Town goalkeeper. Can sometimes have calamity in that.
Well, those teammates who played with Adam last season will know that he does have a calamity in him. And that's not being unkind. I think he'd be the first to admit
I think
it.
it's true, yeah.
But I think we saw far more of a decent goalkeeper than that last season.
I agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
Staunton on the halfway line, quickly taking the free kick, in which Poole Town did win through Dan Wooden being the penaliser. Ball has come into Chris Campbell. Chris Campbell just unable to get onto the end of it. Roy Williams doing well, actually. And the ball is currently being battled with on the far side between Campbell and Krasnicki by the looks of it. Poole Town winning the throw-in, taken to IK Hill, and Gwenge now has it. Gwenge on the far side, losing possession into Caborn, and now Joe Morrison has a chance to hack it up the field. It's going to be chased down by Rafa Ramos. Ramos up against Davis, and Davis just didn't want to take any risks there, kicking it out of play for Gosport to have a throw-in. 25 yards out inside the Poole half. And Rafa just going to leave it for Benny Reid, the usual throw-in taker. Can be a little bit of a long throw-in specialist.
Yeah, let's see if that's a weapon he can use constructively here, James, because we certainly saw a few on Wednesday night against Wimborne, didn't we?
Well, he's gone short this time into Caborn. Caborn controls it well, looking to turn IK Hill, but in doing that, passing it out.
Yeah, goal kick then, without a doubt, and that sort of opportunity fizzles out with a whimper, really.
Well, Jeremy, let's once again take it back to Wednesday night. It looked like it was a tight game between Wimborne, but high-flying the Magpies are. So to win that game, promising signs. 3 unbeaten now as well.
Yeah, and Wimborne are traditionally a team that Gosport have always struggled against, home or away. Away certainly more, but Tim Seals, the ex-Gosport player, now manager at Wimborne, he's really got them organised. He did a really good job at Hamworthy. Then he went to Wimborne, and he's really, really got that club flying. And he's done a cracking job with them. So I actually didn't think we'd get that win. I thought we might get a point, a draw. But to actually go and beat them with such a good performance, I was really impressed with that. And that's a momentum builder going into today. You can forget the league for today for 1 week. But yeah, you got such a good result from that game. It does give you some heart and some confidence.
And momentum, the big word often used within football. The Slade coming forward, 17 yards out, brushes it into McCormick. McCormick up against Ben Greenwood, cuts inside, delivers across. It's going to fall just hard of Gwenge. Once again, perhaps a little bit fortunate. Maybe McCormick could have done better there.
Possibly, but my overriding thinking there was that I thank God it didn't get to Gwenge because if there's one player in front of goal you do not want half a chance falling to, it's him, because he is capable of so many moments of class, that player, as we've seen for Poole this season and last.
And Hammond there, the new goalkeeper, just slipping there when taking the kick. But he's done well. It's a long one. Oh! Ramos from a shot from distance. It was sort of a half volley and it's just over Parks' crossbar. But if that would have gone in, that could have potentially been goal of the tournament. It's one of those stabs at a goal, but it would have looked beautiful if it went in.
Yeah, he sort of it was instinctive, reactive, always rising and always going over the top. But to be fair though, he had the confidence to sort of just have a go, and sometimes you just want to see that.
For Rafa today, is it sort of proving a point against his old side and against his old managers who he claimed didn't really want him at a lot of stages last season?
It's a difficult one to comment on when you don't really have all the facts, but clearly he didn't settle there because he moved on, didn't he? He left here the previous season and went to Poole. That was before Joe and Pat went there. And then he moved on to Hungerford, didn't he? And then he's come back here again. So without being careful, because I don't have all the facts of that situation, but a player, if he plays well, it's because he's settled, he's happy, and he's confident. If any of those elements to your game are missing, you're not going to play well.
Especially for a striker as well.
And especially for a striker, yeah.
As you can hear the Gosport chants. Oh, Gosport Borough is a chant ringing around the stadium, especially the young ones. It's nice to see that youthful element in non-league as well.
You need to see some fans of the future, don't you? Because I thought about it a lot this week, because I've been at this club for 3 decades and a supporter for almost 10 years before that, and that just almost gives you a clue to my age. Wrong guess is not accepted.
Revealing it then?
No, wrong guess is not accepted. But I was young once and I got involved, and now president of the club. Who knows? You could have a young 7-year-old down there who will go on to be a volunteer and take a post within the club. You just don't know.
Well, Jeremy, maybe we should run a competition for the listeners. Whoever gets the closest to your age wins free tickets to our next home game.
Behave yourself, James.
Poole Town with possession on the halfway line.
I'm 47. There it is.
Gwenge inside the 6-yard box, but he was just cut out there by Joe Morrison. It fell as far as Slim Saeed, the former Farnborough man, on the edge of the box, just taking his time here. Passes it into Davis, I think, there on the far side, and Campbell looked to drill in the cross, but well blocked there by Benny Reid.
Yeah, Reid's doing a good job out there, isn't he, today? Quite effective, and certainly doing his job well.
Well, I think we're around 29 minutes into the game now here at the
AI
Stadium. Still Gosport 0, Poole Town 0. However, Poole Town, they are on the attack on the far side. IK Hill passes it into Gwenge. Gwenge looking to pass it back into IK Hill.
Campbell.
And now Hill delivers that cross. It's high of pretty much all the Gosport defenders and Poole attackers, allowing Greenwood to eventually clear it to Rafa Ramos on the halfway line. He controls it for Kaya Shucker, and Kaya Shucker with a little bit of a high foot there.
Referee played advantage, and now he's brought it back. Yeah, it was clumsy, it was accidental, but it's still a foul. The referee tried to play the advantage, but when he saw it wasn't one, he's brought it back.
While that free kick quickly taken, it's been brushed to that left-hand side. Campbell coming down the left-hand channel into Lowe's. Lowe's into Saeed, inside a D, back into Lowe's. And Saeed just looking to dink it over Greenwood, but unable to do so. Now Kwasnicki, he stabs it out. Can't quite find Rafa Ramos before eventually Lowe's brings it back to goalkeeper Adam Parks. And the Gosport midfield holding up very well so far within the first half an hour as well. I think Krasnicki's looked quite promising since being brought on by Danny Hollins.
Yeah, he's one of those players that just does his job. He's not a showman. He doesn't stand out. He just does his job. And I'll tell you what, you need players like that. Because you have the players that stand out like Rafa Ramos and Caborn, but sometimes you just need the grafters.
Chris Campbell with a high cross headed away there by Rory Williams before being brought down there by Ben Greenwood. It's Gwenge charging it down there on the near side before eventually Greenwood kicking it out of play. And Jeremy, once again, another counter-attack.
Yeah, and Gosport should be tactically aware that that's what Poole are going to try and do. Because they've got the players to make it work.
Oh, Saeed just turned Ben Greenwood there, going goal side, and even executing a shot. It was blasted straight into Romy Ashby Hammond, though, there. Pretty simple save, but just building that confidence as well. And he's drop kicked is going to be ran onto by Kaya Shaka. Adam Park's in a dangerous position. And that's what I mean with Adam Parks. He likes to come out of that 18-yard box, but can sometimes cause damage for his own side when he does that. Often very cool though when he is on the ball. And Jeremy, I'm just going to look actually on the near side. Not even looking at what's playing, but we have seen Finley Wall-Smith on the bench today. So good to see him back after his injury.
He's won his fitness battle, hasn't he, to come back to play, and that's great to see. Just watching this,
Well, Saeed, he did look to pass it in, and Ben Greenwood has gone down, as well as Ashby Hammond.
Yeah,
so two Gosport players down.
Didn't see that. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but that's double trouble for Gosport there. They've got 2 players down and both looking a spot of bother.
Well, luckily we do have Ryan Hall on the bench today, but he is injured, so it wouldn't be ideal if he came on.
No, not at all.
Losing Ben Greenwood, that could be very scary, considering how key he's been since being brought on.
Yeah, I think he's just, Gosport physio, not exactly in a rush, is he? He's just strolling out there like he's out for a Sunday walk, but he's there now, so trouble is he can't assess 2 players at once. That's the problem. So it would be interesting to see if Gosport will let their ex-physio, Olivia Bailey, go out and help, I think she's making her way out there.
And that's good to see.
Yeah, because Liv obviously was our physio for 2 seasons. So yeah, she's doing us a favour now, bless her.
And to be fair, that probably helps Gosport in a lot of ways from where she knows the players and probably their injuries and background.
Well, she's a very, very highly respected physiotherapist, and she has her own practice in Bournemouth. So she knows her stuff, but obviously she's dealing with a player she didn't have here last season. But he seems to say he's okay, so she's sort of making her way back over, and now she's looking at Greenwood. And yeah, she's not needed, but at least that's very good of Joe and Pat to allow her to go out and help. But Ashby Hammond is okay. Greenwood, not so much. He's still gone back down again. So James is tweeting, so I'll commentate. Game at a standstill. 35 minutes played, 0-0 here between Gosport Borough and Poole. Greenwood looks as though he's going to get up and play on. I think he was just getting the weight off his feet, but he doesn't look altogether comfortable here, folks. So I think he's going to try or is he done for? No, he's done for. It's a substitution.
Yeah, so there will be that substitution. It's going to be youngster Harvey Solly coming on in replacement.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gosport Borough's substitution on 35 minutes. Coming on, number 12, Harvey Solly, replacing number 21, Ben Greenwood.
Jeremy, that's a big blow for
That's a massive blow. That is a massive, massive, massive blow for Borough to lose a player of his experience and his stature, and the fact that he's in form as well. That is not good news for Borough. So there's going to be some reorganising to do there, I suspect. On he comes.
Looking on the positive side, though, chance for Solly to
He's a decent little player. He's a decent little player. That's the thing, because I don't think he's let himself down at all when he's... look, he can't put any weight on that. Greenwood straight down the tunnel into the treatment room. Can't put any weight on that left foot. That is not good news for Gosport. And, of course, for Farnborough either, because he's a loan player on loan from Farnborough. His parent club obviously won't be too... they'll be quite concerned to hear that as well.
And just another one to add to the injury list.
Yeah, we've just got 2 of them back in terms of Finn Walsh-Smith and Brad Tarbuck, and you're still waiting for Michael Fernandez to come back as well. And of course, Gunson's another one out. So it's I think Gosport will welcome a free week, as provided this tie doesn't need a replay, James.
Yeah,
because they've got a free week before Chertsey next Saturday. And I think they'll welcome a week off just to get these players treated. But Poole now, again, coming down the right-hand side, McCormick, shut down by Krasnicki, and Ramos now just trying to work the ball out of defence. But good pressure there from Harvey Slade, who was just applying the pressure there for Poole. And Krasnicki having to fend off the advances there of Chris Campbell. And Gosport are hemmed into their own final third. A mistake from Williams, is it? Maybe. Gwingway has scored! And Poole have scored! It's Shaquille Gwingway on 37 minutes. And that all comes from that defensive error there. I'm afraid from Krasnicki. That's bad news. So 37 minutes played, and that's a goal for Poole Town.
And he goes to celebrate in front of the Gosport fans as well. But all came from a Gosport defensive mishap. Rory Williams being dispossessed, out-muscled there by Gwenge, and Gwenge takes advantage, blasting a ball past Ashby Hammond and giving the Dolphins the lead. It was just a little bit sloppy there from Williams.
Yeah. And sorry, I do digress. It was actually Rory's mistake rather than that of Krasnicki. But I said to you, didn't I, at the very beginning, it will be one mistake, one moment that changes the course of this game. Poole have the lead, and it's a defensive error. And you cannot. And I also said you cannot allow a player like Gwenge an opportunity in front of goal. There you go. That's exactly what's happened. So 38 played, Gosport 0, Poole Town 1, and a defensive error leading to their most potent striker making the most of the gift he was presented with. Now, Gosport now have got to come back into the game, and they're not in a good tactical situation, having lost Ben Greenwood to injury. Perhaps it's his absence and the reorganisation and the uncertainty that's caused. But now Poole are sensing blood. They are smelling blood. This is Saeed on the edge of the area still. Saeed, he's undone by Krasnicki, but Poole have their tails up. They've got the goal, and the momentum shifted their way most noticeably. And Gosport trying to break out now. Down the right-hand side comes Benny Reid. And now Gosport trying to work the chance they've been given. Caborn now. Caborn. And I'm going to hand back to James. I'll commentate till the end of the chance and I'll come back to you.
Benny Reid. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
No, I'll come back to you now.
Oh, well, Tommaso inside this Poole Town half. And as we just said there, Gwenge opening the scoring here at the AI Stadium. And Jeremy, it's important to remember, Gosport won't go down without a fight.
No, they can't go down without a fight, can they? That's the least the fans expect, is them to put up a fight. And that's exactly what you expect them to do.
Well, it'd be nice if we could get that instant retaliation and get a goal straight back. But instead, Poole Town have been given a free kick after Trevor Caborn just rushed Staunton a little bit too hard there, rushing him to the floor. Adam Parks inside his own D, passing right into McCormick. Can Poole Town double their lead within a matter of minutes? Rory Williams with the ball, just left of the 18-yard box. Rockets the ball over, out for another Poole Town throw-in.
Yeah, Poole have shifted up through the gears since the goal, haven't they? I'd expect no less of them, really. Gosport vulnerable after having to make a change. And then immediately after the change, a defensive error benefits the one player on the pitch you don't want it to benefit, and he's made the absolute most of it. And Gwenge doesn't miss those.
Gosport just threaded a deep ball there, unable to find Rafa Ramos, instead finding Staunton. But Dan Wooden's still going to charge down those loose second balls. So far, yet to really see much of Dan Wooden in this half.
No, he's been marked out of the game because obviously Joe and Pat will know all about him and what he brings to the party. He hasn't really been involved as much as he would like. But I think that's down to Poole's tactics and how they're approaching him rather than anything he's done wrong.
Caborn on the far side, being dispossessed. Slade now for the Dolphins, turning down Wooden, still holding possession before he eventually offloads it into Davis inside his own half. Davis just taking his time with the ball before passing it back into Staunton on the left-hand side. And Krasnicki wins the ball deep inside the Poole half, passing it into Rafa Ramos. Rafa Ramos might be able to get a goal. He lost it straight at Adam Parks. That was a goal begging at his mercy. Had all the time in the world, but just could not find the back of the net, Jeremy.
Yeah, that was the chance, wasn't it? Rafa, I think, will be disappointed with that. He had all the time in the world to line it up, and Parks more or less straight at him. But Gosport might be ruining that one, I'm afraid. The game goes on, though. Gosport trying to build something again while James is doing his social media. The ball in the air, headed back by Benny Reid. Now, can Gosport build again? They're trying to find Dan Wooden, but as I just alluded to, he's just being marked out of the game. He's not involved in it. Down the right-hand side with Morrison. Not the best pass from him. and that's quite comfortably dealt with defensively by the visitors this afternoon. James.
Parks with the ball inside his own box. And this is where Poole can just take however long they want now, with them being a goal up. All the pressure now on Gosport to get that goal back. Be nice if we could get a goal back as well before the end of the first 45.
There's no reason why they can't. I mean, except if you make mistakes like that. But yeah, certainly, I think you had the opportunity there with Ramos. He's had their two best opportunities of the game, really.
Slade passes it right into McCormick. McCormick for the Dolphins. Ike Hill leaves it for Gwenge, and Gwenge looking to turn Krasnicki, but unable to do so. Now to Massa, leaving a counter. Nice. Dan Wooden inside the centre circle, passing it into Trevor Caborn. Caborn open in space. He's going to go alone up against Campbell. Chins the ball, and it's blasted into the side netting. I think everyone around the ground thought it was a goal.
Yeah, you had the optical illusion, didn't you? You had the optical illusion that it had hit the back of the net, but it actually hit the side netting. So yeah, it sort of deceived a few people watching, but Gosport do have the corner, James.
That's more like it though from Gosport. I think that is that Tommaso on the far side.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Reed.
No, he's in the middle.
So it's going to be Benny Reed taking this corner then. Can Gosport claw a goal back? Benny Reed delivers this in swinger. Can't find a head of Dan Wooden, who is brought to the floor. Falls back to Benny Reed, 8 of the 18-yard box. And then it has been headed away only as far as Kai Shocker. Shocker lines up a shot and it's blasted over Parks' crossbar. We've seen him do the spectacular from that range. That was not though.
The opening home game of the season against Farnham, he did exactly that. But that time it wasn't to be. That was high wide and not very handsome. But it just shows you that the opportunities are there for Gosport. We're about to get the ball from the fourth official, so that'd be interesting to see.
I reckon 4 minutes.
Possibly with the injuries down that end, yeah. 3. I've just seen 3 flash up. So we're a little bit early for the ball yet. We're only 44 minutes played. We're in the 45th minute now. But at least I know what I have to announce in a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to do it. So
Adam Parks distributes that goal kick. It's going to be battled between Gwenge and Joe Morrison. Morrison winning that battle and heading it forward into Rafa Ramos inside the Dolphins' half. Rafa just losing possession, but that second ball falls kindly to Kai Shocker. Shocker striding forward now, laying it left into substitute Harvey Solly. Solly laying in a cross, it can't find Rafa. Well headed away there by Campbell, just inside his own box, and that header falls out of play. It's going to go out for a Gosport throw midway inside the Poole Town half. It's going to be Benny Reed taking this throw in. We already alluded how he's a little bit of a long throwing specialist.
Ball's going up now.
And Reed just passed it to Wooden. Trevor Caborn. Back into Krasnicki, midway inside the Dolphins' half.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time. 3 minutes.
Krasnicki. And as you heard there from Jeremy, 3 minutes have been added on. 3 minutes perhaps for Gosport to find a goal. Cable whips in the ball. It can't find Dan Wooden, but Dan Wooden is calling for a handball. The referee immediately waving away any penalty claims. Williams inside the centre circle looking for another crossfield pass. It can't quite reach Cable, but Dan Wooden nods it back for Harvey Solly. Cleared away there by Davis. And now Campbell picking up his second ball, winning it from a Campbell header. Caborn just holding up possession. Back into Joe Morrison. Down this far hand side. Caborn chipping it over for Benny Reed. Benny Reed is going to stream forward before running into trouble there. Running into Campbell, who just kicks it out of play. Out for another deep Gosport throw-in. Benny Reed preparing to take this throw in here. He's going to throw it into Caborn. Caborn back into Benny Reed. Benny Reed brings it down nicely there, going for a low-driven pass, but once again well dealt with by Lowe's before eventually it has been cleared only as far as Roy Williams on the halfway line. Kaya Shaka left of centre into Solly. Midway inside the Poole half still. It might just be one chance left in this game, well, this half even. Williams scooping the ball over. Dan Wooden flicks it back. Can Rafa get onto the end of it? Instead, Adam Parks has to come and claim it, ensuring the former Dolphins man couldn't get onto the end of that pass.
90 seconds of the stoppage period up here at the AAI. It's Gosport 0, Poole 1. Gwengwe after 37, the goal scorer for the Dolphins, James.
I suppose the only optimism really is it's only one goal really separating the two sides.
Yeah.
Easily, well, retrievable to
Yeah, you
get
don't
that goal
panic.
back.
You don't panic. You can turn that around in a heartbeat. But Gosport will be ruining at the tail of the first half for me as they've missed chances and made one crucial error at the back that's been fully punished and
Exactly,
deservedly
yeah.
so. So you can't argue with that. But yeah, it's not irretrievable by any means.
Deep ball from Adam Parks, well brought down there by Gwenge into Slade. McCormick chips it into Chris Campbell. Chris Campbell looking to play it back into Gwenge, but dispossessed by Gosport. Rafa Ramos on the near side had to hold up 3 Poole Town players there. He did distribute the pass, but it's gone straight into the path of Adam Parks. And Adam Parks is just going to let this half die out. And as you can hear by the referee's whistle, it's finished here for the first half. Poole Town 1, Gosport 0. The goal coming through Shaquille Gwenge, and that is the difference between the two sides. There will be more coverage from the second half, but as it finishes here, Gosport 0, Poole Town 1. So hello everybody and welcome back to second half coverage of Gosport versus Poole Town today in the FA Cup. The first half did finish Poole Town 1, Gosport 0. The only goal being scored by Gwenge. And to be fair, it was a well-taken goal, capitalising off a Gosport mistake before he blasted past Ashby Hammond to give the Dolphins a 1-goal lead. So it is Gosport who really do need to get a goal back. So come on, Gosport Borough, get a goal. But will be Krasnicki by the looks of it, in the centre circle. Yeah, Krasnicki in the centre circle, just preparing to get this kickoff underway. It's going to be the Dolphins in their purple strip shooting from my right to left, and Gosport in the yellow and blue shooting from my left to right. Alright, it's Gosport who has kicked our fourth, as it has gone onto the near side already. Trevor Caborn striding down, but it looked like he just ran it out of play as it will go out for a Poole Town throw in early on. And Jeremy, I just want you to describe that first half because there's a lot of things to speak about.
Yeah, even Stevens, but then Gosport missed some chances and then made a pretty poor mistake at the back that allowed probably the worst player on the pitch to benefit, Gwenge, and he scored. So Poole lead at the break defensively and Gosport just winning a free kick now.
And it's gone Gosport's way, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that, to be fair.
Well, it's not in actually a bad position, 30 yards out. Definitely not shooting range, but a great place if you want to cross it into the box, in which Roy Williams probably will be the player doing so, right of centre. What can the Gosport skipper do from this set piece? 30 yards out. He's going to curl one in. It's a deep one. Can it find a head of Morrison? It hasn't. It's going to fall to Solly just outside the 18-yard box. Shrugs off his man as he passes back into Williams. Williams looking to put it back into the danger zone, in which he does. Headed down by Dan Wooden. And Joe Morrison gets onto the end of it before eventually the referee has blown Poole's way.
Yeah, the ball ended up in the back of the net, didn't it? But yeah, not to be. Right, James, I'm going to just pop out for a minute. I'll leave you in your capable hands.
Well, a lot of pressure on me. And I hope you guys can hear the AI Stadium in a full voice today up against the Poole Town supporters. Two well-known supporters, both for the atmosphere. And I'm just trying to search for the ball again after I did that tweet. It's just, I think it's gone out of play for a throw on the far side. Yeah, it's well pointed out there by Connor. It's going to be McCormick by the looks of it taking this throw in as he passes into Gwenge. Gwenge just glances ahead back into Roy Williams, so back into Gosport possession. Williams losing possession to Saeed, but Williams just redeeming himself there, winning back possession before he kicked it onto the leg of Chris Campbell, and Campbell's deflection turns it out for a Gosport goal kick. As I alluded to, there wasn't really too much action within the first half. Obviously, you had the goal scored by Gwenge, that being the difference between the two teams. However, before that, within the 5th minute of the game, Poole Town did come close, hitting the post. It was Davis from a free kick, and to be fair, he beat the goalkeeper, Ashby Hammond. But yeah, they were really the main two bits of action within the first half. Gosport, best opportunity, probably came through a shot from Rafa Ramos, 25 yards out, stabbed the shot at goal, landing just over Adam Parks' crossbar. But aside from that, Gosport didn't really have too much to say in front of the Poole Town goal. They will need to say a lot more if they are to get back into this game, as the ball has been floated over the Poole back line, chased down by Rafa Ramos, but it's well gathered there by Davis. To be fair, he's done well there. Now he's passed into Slade. Slade coming forward here for the Dolphins. Purple bodies moving up the field. Davis releases it into Chris Campbell. Chris Campbell, the former Gosport man, stepping over. He gets past Kyle Shaka. He delivers the ball, but straight into Roy Williams. So Gosport skipper allows Krasnicki to pass it left into Solly. And now Solly, we've seen him. He has bags of pace. Can he use that now? He can't, as he loses possession from Saeed midway inside the half. And it was IK Hill there on the floor, just getting lost in it. Play has resumed. Saeed trying to skip a pass across into McCormick. Saeed passes intercepted there by Rory Williams. Williams dinking the ball across into Rafa Ramos. And Davis on the far side is just going to see that pass run out of play. I was going to say, I think I've got a few comments saying, why am I doing Ollie Murs lyrics? Well, why am I doing Ollie Murs lyrics? Well, Connie, you're not the only one to pick up on it now in the YouTube chat. Oh, Gwenge has gone down though inside the Gosport half. It looks quite a serious one. Liv Bailey, the former Gosport physio, going down to see Gwenge. He has had a pretty good game, to be fair. Hasn't been called into action much within the first half, but when he was, he took his chances well, doing so in grabbing the first and only goal in this game so far. Benny Reid just having a chat with the referee, the man who did push Gwenge to the floor there. It just allows both teams to have a chat with their managers. Gosport have currently 4 of their coaches in the technical box chatting with their players. As for Poole Town, Pat Sorachi and Joe Lee, 2 ex-Gosport managers, just having a little talk with the players. And Jeremy, you missed quite a few goals.
Behave.
For any of the listeners who might actually be turning in, nah, you didn't miss anything really within the second.
That doesn't look good for Poole. I didn't see what happened or who that is, but that's not looking good, is it?
Well, he went down by a challenge from Benny Reid. Nothing really malicious, but once, like you said, just looks quite uncomfortable at the moment, Shaquille.
Yeah, and he's the last player they're going to want off injured for sure.
He's been prolific for the Dolphins.
100%
all season.
100%. But he, I think he'll be okay. But just needs to possibly have a little bit more treatment off the pitch. But
perhaps run it off as well. One of those.
Paul will certainly hope so.
Well, it has been taken now, that drop kick. It's going straight into Joe Morrison, who flicks it back. It fades ahead of Adam Tommaso. And Adam Tommaso currently tussling for possession, which he does grab, flicking it back. But the AEI Stadium's not happy with what the referee has just awarded, giving a foul Poole's way. A bit like Adam Tommaso was actually strong in that position, so I can understand why the Gosport fans are a little aggrieved with that decision. But the set piece quickly taken here by Campbell. And now IK Hill coming down this left-hand channel. Rafa Ramos is chasing him down. IK Hill passes back to Saeed. Saeed with a 1-2 into IK Hill. It's falling all the way back into McCormick. Now Saeed. Just 20 yards away from goal. And Poole Town playing nice football down this left-hand near side. IK Hill, former Winchester man, goes inside of Rafa Ramos, taking it to the byline. But Rafa Ramos tracking back well there.
That's lovely work there from Rafa.
Flicking it forward into Trevor Caborn. Caborn just unable to get onto the end of it. But Jeremy, to be fair, you have to credit Rafa Ramos' recent work rate. He's been pretty much up the field everywhere in the last few games.
He's not played badly today either. I think he'll regret the chances he's missed. But I'll tell you what, right there, he's gone back and done his defensive duties perfectly. That was a real opportunity for Poole, and Ramos just shut it down. So fair play to him.
It's one of the big differences between him and when we saw him last time in the Gosport shirt. When he was with Gosport a few seasons back, was more of that lone striker, whereas now he's working all over the pitch.
Yes, he is, and he's certainly making his presence felt in that role as well. And he seems to be starting to enjoy his football again. But here we go.
Benny Reid coming down this right-hand channel up against McCormick. He does get the better of the defender, but in the end, to be fair, their Poole number 3 did track back well there. The heavy deflection, smashing it out for a deep Gosport throw-in, a yard or two away from the right corner flag.
Campbell did well there, to be fair, for Poole. He just blocked the cross and it ricocheted miles out of the ground. But Gosport have the throw now.
Benny Reid preparing to take this throw in. Gosport yet to really make anything of the set pieces they have taken. And they won't do anything with that one
either. That was not good. But sort of just rolled harmlessly out of play behind the goal, didn't it?
It does look like, Jeremy, though, the intensity has increased.
Yes, and it has to. Certainly from Gosport's point of view, they're chasing the game now. Poole have the ace to play that they are ahead. And they can dictate the tactics as they want them to be. But Gosport now, as the clock ticks down towards the end of the game, and if it stays the same, we'll have to chase the game more, take more risks, and to actually start to gamble. They'll have to. So really, ideally, they're going to want to get an earlier goal.
Van Wooding nodding the header back into Caborn, and Caborn brought down to the floor. The referee quick to react, blowing for the foul. So Gosport going to have a free kick, literally a yard left of the centre circle inside the Poole Town half, quickly taken by Krasnicki into Adam Tommaso. Adam Tommaso plays a right-footed pass right into Benny Reid. Now Rafa Ramos uses a step over to get past Campbell, passing it into Krasnicki midway inside the Poole Town half. Now Adam Tommaso coming down this right-hand channel. Slim Saeed stuck out a left foot there, seeing it run out of play for a Gosport throw-in. And 9 minutes played of this second half. Poole Town still leading by 1-0. But still plenty of time for Gosport to find an equaliser, and potentially 2 goals would be nice.
Well, we're going to have to see, but Gosport have just got to plug away here, James, and just trying to find a way back into the tie. It's not over, far from it. Here's a cross forwards. Wooden, but he can't. He's stretching. He's falling backwards almost. Too difficult a chance for him to do anything with that.
Well, Adam Parks falls nicely into the gloves of the former Gosport keeper as he bowls it out into Staunton. A chipped ball forward into Gwenge. Gwenge, to be fair, brings it down lovely. He's got purple bodies flooding forward now. One of them being Billy Lowes, who he passes to. Lowes dispatches it left into IK Hill. IK Hill looking to cut inside, come more centrally. He passes it into Gwenge, and Gwenge just can't tee it up for IK Hill. Well cut out by Gosport, and now Gosport, the home side, looking to counter through Rafa Ramos coming down this right-hand channel. The Gosport number 11 using his speed to get past Campbell, and Campbell just almost fell into Rafa Ramos rather than a shove.
Yeah, just a good old physical battle, isn't it? Nothing wrong with that. But Gosport need to keep this drive, this urgency. You've got to keep it up, James, if they're to find a way back into this. Lovely to see this stadium so full.
It really
especially
is.
down
really
that
is.
end. All right, it's a bit more space down to our left, but yeah, behind that goal away to our right, there's not much space there.
Ball, Chris Campbell looking to pounce forward, but he was cut in his tracks there by Benny Reid. And now Benny Reid delivers a high cross, narrowly evading the head of Rafa Ramos. The ball just filtering within the centre, really, of the pitch. Kaya Shaka with possession now. The Gosport number 14 passes it into Harvey Solly, the first substitute of the game. Solly coming down the left-hand channel. He cuts inside of Slade. Passes back into Shaka. Shaka's going to come forward here, brought to the floor, and the referee's not going to give anything. Looks more like he tripped, if anything.
There was nothing there, James. That's a goal kick. But, the first and only substitution thus far in terms of Solly replacing the injured Greenwood. But it's too finely balanced a game. Do you really want to make a change at the moment? Gosport, I think if they go another 10 minutes and they haven't scored, then you look at the bench. Who would you bring on? You haven't got any out-and-out strikers on there.
Maybe Fox, just to add a little bit more liveliness.
I think it would have to be Tarbuck.
Yeah.
Gamble on Tarbuck's fitness, yeah.
Down Woodin inside the centre circle, passing it into Rafa Ramos just outside the 18-yard box. Can he get the better of Campbell? He does. He's going to go for a shot. And to be fair, Staunton nearly turns it into the back of his own there. It's not far away, but once again, it all comes from that danger man, Rafa Ramos, really making chances out of nothing.
Yeah, that was better from Rafa and much better from Gosport. And the shot needed dealing with, even though it went for the corner anyway. It was going for the corner in any case. But here comes the corner. Let's see what Reid can do with it.
A lot of people are saying in the chat they would love to see Rafa get on the goal sheet, so hopefully he can. Benny Reid delivers the corner, finds ahead of Joe Morrison, and Joe Morrison's header just can't quite find the back of well, even a shot in the end. Danced into the air, but falls kindly to Benny Reed. Reed back into Solly. Solly delivers it into Shucker. Shucker in a good position. He's going to dink it forward. Just can't find Joe Morrison. And now Poole Town looking to counter. Chris Campbell has a lot of space. He passes it into Saeed. Saeed might be through on goal. He does take it through. He goes for a shot and he sends it backwards in there. It came from a Poole Town counter-attack. It's excellent from the former Farnborough man. Chris Campbell with the defence splitting pass into Saeed, and Saeed stabs it home for the visitors, and they double their lead.
This is Saeed, wasn't it?
Yep, Saeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, Poole Town goal comes in the 59th minute. The scorer number 16 is Selim Saeed.
Jeremy, suddenly that challenge becomes a lot harder to get back
Yes,
onto level terms.
I spoke of moments before the game, and there was another one. Gosport caught absolutely flat-footed, and yeah, quick break, absolutely caught, absolutely napping, and the quality players that Poole have in their ranks, that was never going to end another way. So Poole now have a commanding lead, and Gosport looking at the end of their FA Cup run, unless they can sensationally turn this around. But the job's got a lot harder now. And you look back at those first half missed chances, don't you? And you look back at the two defensive mistakes that they've made that have both resulted in goals for the opposition. And there you go. That's it. That's how you summarise it. But you can't argue with the scoreline. You can't argue with the way the goals were scored. You can only argue with Gosport going to sleep twice. And that's what they've done, I'm afraid. But now with James tweeting, Poole now really are going for it, because the third goal would kill it. IK Hill now, danger for Gosport, enters the box. Really good challenge there from Analdo Krasnicki to rob him of the ball. Goes out for a throw-in on the left, but Gosport now are looking absolutely stunned. And they'll look back, if this is how it ends, then they'll look back and think it's an opportunity missed here. Poole Town have taken it quickly now, and they're working the ball around the edge of the box. Here's Hill. Davis asking for it, but doesn't receive. Hill goes on to the byline. Cut out there from Adam Tommaso. Really good block from the former AFC Tottenham man at the expense of a corner. And Poole continue to threaten. And there's not much doubt in my mind that if a third one goes in, that will be good night.
Game over.
Yeah. Poole have had a cracking start to the season. There's no mistake in it. Cup ties, we know, are all on the day, but Gosport defensive errors as the ball comes in from the left-hand side. Gosport haven't quite dealt with it just yet, but they do now. Solly booting upfield rather aimlessly, and Poole applying the pressure again, James.
And this is, Poole Town looked like they could have been through on goal again. But luckily, the flag did go up for offside.
It's as well for Ashby Hammond that it was, because I think he might have handled that.
Yeah, I think this game really showed the inexperience of Romy Ashby Hammond. I don't really want to pick out the young keeper, but
it's not his fault.
Yeah, just a few times.
He's been left exposed twice by defensive errors, and he was powerless to stop the goal. So there's nothing he could have done.
Well, I think, speaking of another youngster, actually, it looks like Harry Lee might be preparing to come on. We know
another
Harry Lee very well.
We do. Yeah. So another player that Poole can introduce who can sort of cause Gosport further headaches.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the Poole Town bench, I mean, it just shows their squad depth, really. The likes of Henry Spalding, Antonio Diaz, Harry
experience.
Lee. I'm picking out those ones because obviously we know them, but they are good players to be on the bench.
Well, Diaz offers you experience. He's been around. He's spent a season here. Spalding, we know all about. Harry Lee, we know all about. Yeah, they've got a good bench to empty, and they haven't got 5 subs, so they can use them all.
Exactly. Joe Morrison inside his own half. Can he be the person to rejuvenate a Gosport comeback? I mean, to be fair, it would take some going in order to carve out a comeback.
You know, the hour's been and gone. Gosport down the right-hand side now. What can happen here? Nothing at all is the answer to that.
I think it has gone out for a Gosport corner, though.
Sub coming. I think Poole are making a change.
And it looks like it will be Antonio Diaz.
Yeah. Another ex-Gosport Borough player. So the question is, are they going to risk Wengui, or because he's a striker, is Are they going to risk continuing with Gwengwe? But anyway, I digress.
Benny Reed preparing to take this corner. It's an in-swinger punched away by Adam Parks. It's going to fall to Harvey Solly outside the 18-yard box. Back into Benny Reed. Benny Reed on the touchline, passing back into Solly. 30 yards out, and Solly passes back into Roy Williams on the halfway line. Williams dinks the ball. It's going to go straight back into Poole possession to Davies. But once again, Williams coming forward, trying to cut it out. And that's the thing. Gosport, they are flying bodies forward. But when Poole do counter, they're making Gosport get punished for it every time.
Yeah, they are. They are. And I'm beginning to feel the game is slipping away from Gosport Borough at this point. Poole are now superior in most departments.
Gosport will be making a change, though. I'm
yeah,
not sure if you saw that, Jeremy.
They are, but Poole are going to make one first. We've discussed it. It'll be Diaz. The only question is who for.
Well, Chris Campbell plays a left sideways pass into Slim Saeed, the man who grabbed Poole Town second. Can he add another one to his name? Cuts inside. He's going to go for a shot. Lined it up, but well blocked there by Adam Tommaso. Now Lowe's with possession, passing into Chris Campbell. Campbell, who got the assist for the second, passes left into McCormick. And McCormick's pass just covered.
He's just left it.
And then Williams just leaving the ball there, allowing for Slim Saeed to line up another shot. But so many laps of concentration.
Here we go. And there's one for Gosport. Right, it'll be Saeed. It's Brad Tarbuck for Gosport.
So it's going to be Bradley Tarbuck coming on. And his replacement will be... Well, we haven't had any indication yet.
Not yet, but we're waiting for it, and then we can get these subs announced. So we know it's Saeed coming off the Poole. 17, that's Krasnicki. Both teams making substitutions. Gosport Borough coming on. Number 7, Brad Tarbuck. Replacing number 17, Ronaldo Krasnicki. And for Poole, coming on, number 22, Antonio Diaz. Replacing number 16, Salim Saeed.
Jeremy, to be fair, I have to give Krasnicki credit. He was probably one of the man of the match contenders for Gosport that game.
As I said, he's just done his job, and that's all you can ask of him. Yeah, he's just one of the guys that's just got on and done his job. And but clearly, all semi or fully fit Tarbuck is a player to gamble on, and that's what they're doing now. Gosport are going forward while James is tweeting. Although Poole launching it high and over the top, hoping to catch Gosport unawares. But it's Gosport now with Ramos down the left-hand side. And still, the Caborn took over from him, and it has gone for the corner. So Gosport will get a corner from the left-hand side. Now, this is an opportunity they can't afford to waste now. 21 minutes of the second half gone. Gosport 0, Poole Town 2. And that is not an undeserved scoreline from Poole's perspective. Gosport 2 mistakes, 2 goals conceded. Now they must try and score one. On the left-hand side then, Reed the taker. Here it comes. Swung in towards that near post. Poole deal with it. Onto the roof of the net for another corner. So, but they must switch sides because this one's going to be from the right-hand side. So Reed trots over to take. I'll do this one, then I'll come back to you. All right, just do this one, then I'll come back. And Gosport must make it count. Reed's gone from the left to the right to take this corner. Gosport chasing the game at 2-0 down. Here we go. Swung in again. This time it's towards the far post. And it's Morrison almost heading goal bound. It was a downward header. James not to be.
And now Poole Town looking to counter from it. Chris Campbell coming forward. He's got Antonio Diaz on the underlap, but Tommaso doing well to overturn their possession. Joe Morrison passing it into Rafa Ramos. Rafa Ramos inside the Poole Town half. Laying a pass into Caborn. Caborn passes back into Rafa. Rafa outside the 18-yard box, just caught in his tracks there. Just too many purple bodies in front of him.
891. Can I announce that? Does Craig say I can announce it? Can you ask him? And if he says yes, I'll do it.
Well, Jeremy, I was wondering if you and me could just spend a minute there talking about that attendance. That's another superb number.
Yeah, 891 the gate today. Very, very good. We knew it was going to be a good one when we saw the amount of people around the ground. And yeah, it's another fantastic turnout, isn't it? And of course, the Poole fans have contributed to that. They're sort of hemmed into their little enclosure over there. But another fantastic gate, James.
Tarbuck with his first action of the game, passing back into Joe Morrison, and Morrison lays a right sideways pass into Solly. Solly up against Campbell, goes inside, laying a free ball into Tarbuck. Tarbuck, the gospel number 7, left sideways pass into Shucker. Shucker looking to go for a cross. Well chased down there by Chris Campbell on the far side before eventually Shucker falls down. And the two are currently dueling, in which Chris Campbell eventually wins, gets the better of Kai Shucker. Calls for the referee to get involved there, but not really too much the referee could really do there, to be honest.
No, not at all. So both sides have now made changes. Gosport have made an enforced one, Poole a tactical one, and then Gosport bringing on Tarbuck, who hasn't even played a game yet this season with his injury. So hopefully he's fit enough and he'll make a real difference. Now we know when he's fully fit and on his game, he most certainly can. So fingers crossed today he can return with an impact, with a bang.
Definitely. Yeah. Solly delivering the cross.
Not a very good one, I'm afraid.
Goes over the net. And I thought Gosport were just going to prepare another change there. That's the issue with having 3 coaches. It just looks like there's going to be a new player coming on every time.
Well, they're going to have to gamble again. They've made the obvious substitution, bringing on Tarbuck.
Nella just
I can't see what else they're going to do. Jack Fox, maybe? I don't really know, but there's nothing obvious there for me.
No. Campbell into IK Hill on this near side before Staunton dispatches a deep ball. It's going to be chased down by Gwenge, the man who got the first goal, but Williams tracks back even well there. Gosport looking to counter though from that, before eventually a high ball finds the head of Benny Reid inside his own half. Shucker for Gosport, passing it into Trevor Caborn, but the referee does pull back for a free kick on the halfway line after Kai Shucker was penalised, chucked to the floor there. And it looks like Poole Town will be preparing their second change.
Another familiar
I think it's going to be Spalding coming on.
Another familiar face to Gosport Borough supporters in Henry Spalding. So we know from his performances last season how effective he can be.
Especially from the bench when he's got bags of energy.
Yeah.
Joe Morrison into Tarbuck. Tarbuck right into Benny Reid. Benny Reid delivers a deep cross, narrowly evading the head of Joe Morrison. Would have been great if Morrison could have got some sort of contact there. Was in a great position, but just over the defender.
Here comes the change for Poole Town.
Well, if it's a like for like, you would imagine it will be a midfielder. My best bet would maybe be Campbell, trying to save him. Obviously, the two play in similar positions. IK Hill, Connor reckons. But Diaz coming forward, the ex-Gosport man on the counter. He lays it into IK Hill. IK Hill in bags of space. He's going to get the better of Benny Reid. But in the end, it was, I think, Tommaso, the last man back for Gosport, having to block the shot, needing to do so as well, preventing Poole's third of the game.
Well, it took 3 defenders to stop him there, didn't it? I think that tells its own story. But is this... We'll just wait to see who Spalding will be replacing for the Dolphins. Did you see a 7? Yeah, which means will be Chris Campbell. So that is a great guess from your part, then.
Kai Shucker down the left-hand channel, delivers across. It finds the head of Rafa Ramos. A half-glance header there. Just couldn't really get proper contact, really, behind the header. Now Benny Reid coming forward.
There going on.
A little bit of argy-bargy.
Yeah, a little bit all off the ball there.
Harvey Solly for Gosport, holding up the play before eventually the referee pulls back for it. Joe Morrison and Gwenge.
Yeah, it is.
And both players are going to be shown yellow. Ben Neller isn't too happy with the third official.
It's a little bit of a running battle between those two, to be fair. But let's see if the subs can. Poole have been waiting to make this substitution for nearly 5 minutes, so they want to get on with it.
And now Rory Williams pushing Antonio Diaz.
Ladies and gentlemen, Poole Town substitution coming on number 20, Henry Spalding, replacing number 7, Chris Campbell.
And to be fair, Jeremy, he's played his part in what's looking like his side's win today.
Yes, and Campbell's been highly effective, and he's another ex-Borough player who we had here for half a season, and I think a lot of the supporters wish he'd never left. But at the time, he was just finding it hard with the travelling from his home in London.
Oh yeah, you can understand.
Yeah, but obviously one effective player comes off and another one goes on, because we know all about Henry Spalding and what he brings to the party.
Well, let's hope Gosport can try and ruin that party. They've got a free kick. It's chipped forward. It's going to find Joe Morrison, who glances towards goal. Can Benny Ree get onto it? He can't. Instead, he pushes Adam Parks to the floor. But before that, Parks had grabbed the ball. So it's going to be a Poole Town foul. But Parks is down, and I think he's just going to take all the time.
Yeah, he's just taking his time. To be fair, that was brave goalkeeping from the ex-Borough keeper there. Stuck to his guns, went for the ball, got the ball. 15 minutes left, Gosport 0, Poole 2.
It's going to be McCormick coming down the left-hand channel. A long pass, evading the head of Gwenge, and Williams passes back into the new Gosport goalkeeper, who I think is making his Gosport debut today, if I'm right, Ashby Hammond.
Yeah, he's been on the bench a couple of times. He was on the bench in the last round. But yes, he's been rather forced into the limelight today.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in a few cup competitions coming up.
Yeah, why
obviously,
not?
Portsmouth Senior,
Hampshire, Russell Coates, they've all got to be played. And I imagine you'll see a much younger Gosport Borough side in those.
Diaz coming down the left into Gwenge. Gwenge leaves it for IK Hill. Hill tussling between Joe Morrison, but IK Hill passes back into Staunton. Now Campbell on the left-hand side, back into Staunton. Billy Lowe's.
Just going to say, Poole are making Gosport run rings round them now, aren't they? And not in a good way.
You
not
can
in an effective
see the
way.
difference between the two sides now.
Yeah,
Poole in energy as well.
Yeah, Poole are heading for the victory now, unless something drastically changes.
Disappointing, though, to exit the FA Cup.
It's always, but we're not there yet. It's 15 minutes to go, but I'm just saying.
Diaz, he might be through. He's in acres of space. He pulls it back into Spalding. Spalding just with a little bit of a hefty touch there. Still falls to IK Hill. IK Hill dispatches a pass across the 6-yard box. Unfortunately for Poole, he couldn't find any players. And now Campbell lining up a shot. No power behind it, though. Allowing for Joe Morrison to easily block it. But Poole won it back. Diaz left at the 6-yard box. Up against Joe Morrison, he dinks in the ball, but this time it's well gathered by Ashby Hammond.
Yeah, Poole attacking at will now, and Gosport are keeping them at bay, but unfortunately you can't rule out another mistake, because that's what's led to two good Poole Town goals. And Gosport need a goal urgently now, with just under a quarter of an hour remaining in this FA Cup tie. If they are to save themselves, they need a goal sooner rather than later, and then they can spend the remaining time pushing for the equaliser.
Well, I hate to say it, Gosport have had a lot of the possession in the second half, but they haven't really done anything with it. That's sort of been the story of a lot of this season.
Yes, and it's sort of reared its ugly head again today.
Ball punched away by Parks, only as far as Solly. Solly taking a little too long. He's going to pass it to Tommaso, and Tommaso from just outside the D goes for a shot. It's blazed over Parks' crossbar. Sums up the evening.
It sums up the afternoon perfectly, James. Yes, it was always rising and never going to trouble Adam Parks, was it? But Gosport, you just want to see them really throw everything at it now with just under a quarter of an hour left. And try and stay in this cup competition if they can. But I fear that the way the momentum's gone and the way this game's going, that it's only going one way. But come on, Gosport, prove me wrong.
Well, I think the game can sort of be summed up by some of the players who aren't in the lineup today in front of us, all on their phones, searching through Twitter by the looks of it. Some interesting scores actually in the FA Cup, which we have to try and get up at full time. But back to this game, IK Hill, he's coming down this left-hand channel up against Benny Reid. He's got it through on goal. Can he get Poole's third? Looking to shift it to his left, but it takes way too long. Passing back into Diaz, and Diaz with a very hard hit cross, seeing it evade pretty much all the Poole Town players.
But again, why was Hill allowed that space to run at Gosport as he did? Why?
By Spalding for the visitors, passing it into Campbell. Campbell into
and again,
Hill,
and again, look at this.
Box. He goes for a shot, shifted to his right foot, and then that cold effort just going over the Gosport crossbar. But Jeremy, you just alluded to it. We're giving him way too much space.
Yeah, there again, look. I mean, Gosport were lucky he didn't punish him with the finish there, but yeah, it's a concern to me now that they're letting him run amok, and they really shouldn't, because the next time he might end up sticking one in the back of the net, and that really will be good night, Irene.
Joe Morrison here for Gosport. Now Tarbuck inside the centre circle into Tommaso Williams. Through to Kaya Shaka. Shaka, to be fair, he's had a quite good afternoon. I'm trying to pick out positives here, being optimistic, but
Shaka's played well, yeah.
And now, once again, Poole Town on their attack. It's Gwenge through and goal. Williams went sliding in, but Gwenge has a real free hit at goal. Takes it past Ashby Hammond. Still, how has he not finished off that opportunity? That is comical, if anything. To be fair, Ashby Hammond did well.
You've got to hand it to Ashby Hammond. What a fantastic bit of goalkeeping that was. But again, Gosport are kidding themselves by letting their front two have that space. That, if it wasn't for brave goalkeeping, would have been 3.
Yeah.
Surely. I know they're having to push and they're having to gamble, but don't do that.
Well, it's been a tough afternoon for the new keeper, but to be fair, he'd be happy with that.
I would
Denying
say so,
Gosport's
yeah.
third.
And denying a player of the quality of Gwenge as well.
Yeah. To be fair, I think that was a little bit of complacency, though, from the Poole Town number 9. Just took way too long. It's one of those where you would have liked to seen him smash it. Well, if you were a Poole Town fan, at least, anyway, I'd have rather just seen him sky it, or did what he did, luckily.
10 minutes to go, still 2-0 to Poole. Gosport, at the moment, seemingly heading out of the competition unless they can produce something special now.
Oh, it'd have to be something extremely special. This time, McCormick brought down to the floor. The referee immediately pulling back to that foul. It's going to be a yellow card for Kaya Shaka. Not really needed.
Not yet. It was an unnecessary one, really.
And I think it will be a little bit of a flat last 10 minutes. I can't really see Gosport really going for it. It's going to take something.
It's going to take something very special.
And I think that might be an understatement.
And it's going to take something immediate because we do have 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go. I have seen games turn around in that time, but when you've got the momentum all going one way at the moment, it's very hard to see where that's going to come from.
Well, let's have a look at Poole Town, though. Judging by what you've seen from them today, you can probably understand why they'll be up there this season.
Yeah, well, but Pat and Joe have got themselves organised. They had half a season down there last season, didn't they, after they left here? Kept them up when for all the world it looked as though Poole were going down. They did a superb job. Again, what are they doing now? Just interrupting myself. But again, it was just playing their own goalkeeper into trouble there, Gosport. But yeah, now they've recruited very well in the summer, and now they look a force.
Poole Town coming forward down the left-hand channel. Antonio Diaz looking to pass it into Lowe's, but cut out there by Harvey Solly. Now Tarbuck. Pretty sure this is his debut this season as well.
It is. So it's in the back of my mind.
Oh, a ball chipped over into Antonio Diaz. Once again, in so much space down this left-hand side. He's going to pass it back into Ike Hill. And Ike Hill still can't finish off his opportunity.
I'll tell you what, how did he not score there? How did he not score that?
I know Poole Town will be happy with what they've seen so far, but the last 20 minutes, they've been toothless.
Yeah, they've been, well, toothless, but dominant, I think is fair to say. They've been all over Gosport.
Spalding into Ike Hill, but cut out there by Joe Morrison, literally on the 6-yard box. Dan Wooden for the home side, passing it into Tarbuck. Tarbuck chipping it over the Poole Town back line. It's not going to find Rafa Ramos. Instead, going to find Harvey Slade. I think there could be a very interesting conversation with the management team and the players after this game.
Yeah, they haven't played
what
I would call badly, but at the same time,
too much clumsiness.
Too many clumsy defensive errors have been punished, and they've missed their chances. It's as simple as that. That's a foul.
Yeah, Dan Wooden pushed to the floor there.
Yeah, that was a clumsy one as well.
Yeah. Oh, Jeremy, just talk us through what happened there.
Okay, yeah, Wooden was through. Bit of a clumsy push. So it wasn't Wooden, was it? But no, clumsy push to the floor. So Gosport have a free kick, dead centre, about 25 yards out. It's going to be Brad Tarbuck. Now, with Greenwood off the pitch, Tarbuck we know can take them and can score from them, but whether he can produce the accuracy required of getting the ball up and over the wall in time, that's the challenge for the Gosport number 7 now. Poole have 4 in the wall. The goalkeeper organising it still. Tarbuck knows this is more difficult than it looks. It may be dead centre, but as I always say, you've got to get the ball up and over the wall here. So we're just waiting for the referee to say, please play on, and then we'll see what Tarbuck can do with this. Here it comes, little run up, right footed, wide.
It's not a bad attempt though from Tarbuck. But you know what, Jeremy? This is the annoying bit. If that would have been Greenwood, could that have been in?
Poole Town substitution.
And it's another former Gosport player coming
Harry
on.
Lee.
IK Hill.
Ladies and gentlemen, Poole Town substitution coming on number 15, Harry Lee, replacing number 10, IK Hill.
To be fair, I think if IK Hill's really looking into that performance, dissecting it, I actually think he'd be quite disappointed with how he hasn't buried his chances.
Should have had a hat-trick, in my opinion.
Had so many opportunities.
Yeah, and I think he'll feel the same way. He'll be disappointed, but he's shown how dangerous and threatening he is. But I said to you early on, he's not on his best day today, and I genuinely believe that, because IK Hill on his best day is a nightmare for anybody he plays against. It's as simple as that. I think Gwengwe's had a strong game up front, and Diaz, since he's come on with his experience, has caused Gosport issues as well. So, yeah, I think if you're Pat and Joe and the Poole Town management, you're going to be very happy with this performance, and it keeps the momentum in their season as well.
Tarbuck coming forward for the home side. Just came close from a set piece outside the 18-yard box, passing it into Joe Morrison. Gosport might be able to get one goal back. Benny Reid on the near side on the touchline. Back into Joe Morrison. Now Rory Williams on the halfway line inside the centre circle. Left into Kaya Shaka. Shaka in space. He's going to deliver an in-swinging cross. Can it reach down Wooden? It can't. Just over the head of the striker. Now Diaz is going to take it away. Harry Lee coming forward for the visitors. Just pushed in the back there by by Trevor Caborn, Seeing the ball run out of play. It's going to go out for a Gosport throw-in. Quickly taken into Dan Wooden. Back to Tarbuck. Now Joe Morrison. Places a leftwards pass into Roy Williams. And we have 4 minutes left of normal time here at the AEI Stadium. It is Poole Town leading by 2-0. And it looks like the Dolphins will be heading through to the next round of the Cup unless something miraculous happens.
Yeah, it's looking increasingly likely now that would be the outcome, James, for sure. Disappointing from Gosport's point of view, but you can't doubt the quality of the players and the defensive mistakes. I did say to you, and I did say to the listeners early on, that I thought this game would come down to moments and mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's actually been the truth of it. Missed chances and mistakes.
Like one of those which has just happened. Slade passing it into Gwenge. Gwenge in space once again. How many times have we said that this afternoon? Gwenge dispatches the pass right into Slade. Slade taking it to the corner post. He's not going to waste time. Instead, Poole Town are going to look for their third. Hungry, ruthless, you could say. Kaya Shaka just brought to the floor there. To be fair, Kaya Shaka has run pretty relentlessly this evening.
Yeah, Shaka's he's been busy. He's been full of energy, but very little end product, I hate to say.
That Poole Town throw taken into Spalding. Spalding into Gwenge. Gwenge was on the ball before he had a slide tackle going to the back of him. Williams, that was.
Yeah, he left his foot in.
He's also seen a yellow.
Yeah. Left his foot in, didn't he? And he knew what he was doing there, the Gosport captain, I'm afraid. So that's given Poole another injury worry and the Gosport another headache of trying to defend against it.
Well, can Poole Town get a third and really kill off this game? The short free kick taken into McCormick. Now back to Spalding, McCormick playing it into Lee, and Lee was brought down, and the referee has blown for a penalty. So Poole Town will have a late opportunity to find their third and make Gosport's afternoon even worse.
Yeah.
The fact that we both said that at the same time, I think, just shows what everyone's thinking around the stadium. It really has been, I'm not even going to put it lightly, it's been a rubbish afternoon here at the AEI Stadium.
Yeah.
I can't say it's really been that enjoyable.
It'll be Billy Lowe's to take the spot kick for Poole, but again, it just summarises Gosport's afternoon, I'm afraid.
It's the 90th minute, isn't it?
Yes, pretty much. All by the shouting, yes.
So,
but can Ashby Hammond be a hero, though? You know, let's not look past him. The board is being prepared, but here comes the penalty.
He
Shaq
steps
has
up, he
scored.
finds it back
Gwangway,
in the net. Sends
90th
Ashby
minute.
Hammond the wrong way.
Yeah,
and
Gwangway
Poole Town
with the
grab
penalty.
their third.
Yeah, Gwangway with the penalty there. I actually thought it was going to be Lowe's, but it was Gwangway.
Yeah, it was Gwangway.
Yeah.
So he's second of the game.
Poole Town goal from the penalty spot in the 90th minute to score number 9, Shaquille Gwangway. Well, that's Gosport's afternoon, absolutely done and dusted, and not in the best way. But you can't. The way the second half's gone, it's just gone one way, isn't it?
It really has. It really has.
And we're going to get the board now, and you can now start seeing people moving for the exits. As Gosport kick us off, and literally the 90 minutes is up.
I can't imagine there's going to be too many minutes out of it.
Won't be long. Can't be long.
I don't think any of the fans really want to sit through any more added minutes.
6. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 6 minutes of added time. 6 minutes.
Well, Jeremy, I was wondering if you and me could just spend the last few minutes just chatting about another game actually happening in the local area tomorrow, where Pompey travel to Southampton. Let's take away the attention from this game and go to another big rivalry tomorrow.
Good to see it back.
It really will be.
Good to see it back. Yeah, I think the last league game between the two was in 2012, 2013.
I know it hasn't been played in the league for 13 years.
They've had a couple of FA Cup and Carabao Cup meets, but no, certainly not in the league. And I can't wait for it, James. I really can't. And that, I'm afraid, absolutely summarises Gosport's afternoon. That should have been played. That should have been played at Twickenham. That kind of shot, I'm afraid.
I think any other sport than football, and you would have got points for that.
Yeah, that'd been 3 points. But the rugby club's a mile down the road, I'm afraid. But yeah, it's lovely to see that rivalry come back. And really, I can't call it. I just can't call it, because Pompey will have the players in there that will know the rivalry, will feel it and will live it. Players like Connor Chaplin, who's come back. Saints, not so much, I don't think. But that's not to say they're not going to play well. But I just can't call it.
Yeah.
But the one hope I do have for the occasion, that there is no aggro, no violence and no nastiness. Play the game and let it be about the football this time.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching that. Remember, you can watch that tomorrow on ITV, so you don't even need to watch it on Sky.
And I actually do want to come home from shopping tomorrow morning and watch that.
Well, I think you'll probably have a few fans leaving the AEI Stadium now, perhaps getting their beers ready for tomorrow. Yeah,
I think it's all about tomorrow now for a lot of these people. Because don't forget, a lot of the Gosport fans in the ground are also Pompey fans as well. So just remember that.
Oh, there really are quite a few fans.
It's all of our, let's just say it's our younger crew making their way out.
Yeah, I think it is by the looks of it.
There's a fair few of them.
Yeah, whole camaraderie. Well, to be fair, I would take it back to the game, but believe it or not, within the first few minutes of stoppage time that have been played, literally nothing's happened.
No, with
and you could say that's been Gosport's
the penalty's
afternoon.
killed it, hasn't it? 3-0. There's never going to be. I mean, Gosport just absolutely flattened now, and a well-beaten side. They've been they've been outmaneuvered tactically.
Oh, you could see the contrast between the two teams today.
I think the point where the game started to diverge was when they lost Greenwood.
Yeah,
because up until that point, I actually thought they looked good.
It was balanced, yeah.
But then they've been tactically outmaneuvered by their former managers. and then it's defensive errors and chances being taken as a result of defensive errors.
Well,
Gosport not taking their
exactly,
chances,
exactly.
and that is it. That's ultimately it.
And especially with Harvey Solly, not really. I wouldn't say Solly's had a bad game though. It's just that doesn't
Solly's
really
played
fit
well.
the way
Solly's played
Greenwood
well.
plays.
But it's the balance that
Exactly.
Greenwood...
It is still Poole Town leading by 2-0. No, 3 goals even to 0.
Yeah, 3-0.
We've had a few comments saying thank you for the commentary. Everyone listening, you're more than welcome. Yeah, sorry about the performance though. Tell you what, I'll give any listeners credit that they've listened this long.
I think the post-match interviews are going to be very interesting on both sides, actually.
Yeah,
I really
so.
do. Poole are making another change. And it will. They've only got a couple left now to bring on. I'm trying to see who it's going to be.
I think it could be a
It's
youngster.
going to be Scott Rolls, I believe, from our Poole colleagues down the end of the press box. And it is indeed.
Oh, it's a shot towards goal. To be fair, that was actually bending there.
It was on target from Solly, but it was never going to trouble Parks there, I'm afraid. But Poole are making a very late substitution with literally about less than 90 seconds of stoppage time to play. And it will be Scott Rolls. So you can imagine this is just them possibly just playing the clock down a bit.
Really trying to kill the seconds.
So we're waiting for that substitution to be made. But I'm beginning to wonder if they're going to have any time left to do it, because we're into the last minute of these 6 added minutes.
Williams on the ball for Gosport, chipping it over. It's going to reach Joe Morrison, who flicks it back into Rafa. Rafa brings it down, leaving it for Caborn. Gosport are appealing for a penalty, but nothing's given.
I don't think there was much in it.
Danny Holland's asking questions of it.
But I don't think so. Anyway, here's the substitution. Excuse me. 9.
So it's going to be Gwenge off, and it will be number 11, which is Scott Rolls coming
on. Number 11, Scott Rolls, replacing number 9, Shaquille Gwenge.
He's done well, Gwenge, today. He has done well. A big reason why Poole Town will be heading through to the next round of the prestigious FA Cup.
Yeah, and Gosport will be ruining what might have been, I'm afraid.
The only positive to take away is now you really can draw full focus to the league. You don't have to worry about missing out league games now.
And it's a bit of a gap now to the next home game, the 11th of October. And there we go.
And there is the full-time whistle. So it has finished here at the AI Stadium. Gosport 0, Poole Town 3. If I'm being honest, it hasn't really been the best afternoon for Gosport. Not really too many positives to take away. But it will be Poole Town moving to the next round of the FA Cup. The visitors doing extremely well against the Gosport side, who never really looked like going in this one. As Jeremy did allude to, probably the big difference was when Ben Greenwood did come off for an injury, destroyed the balance of Gosport, and that could really be the turning point looking back at that one. And Jeremy, just talk us through that game.
Defensive errors from Gosport's point of view. As I said, tactically outmanoeuvred by the opposition. The tipping point was Greenwood's injury for me, and it all sort of diverged from there. Before that, Borough were playing well, they seemed in control, but ultimately they too many gifts to the opposition and well taken by the opposition. And then in the second half, Poole went on and dominated the game and deserved winners. You cannot argue with that. You cannot argue with the outcome, and we wish them well in the next round.
Indeed we do. Well, to be fair, I don't really want to keep the listeners for too much longer after that performance, so I'll let everyone go. But there's one way we can always end it. And before I do that, actually, for all the listeners saying, why was there Ollie Murs lyrics in today's commentary? Well, I've got to give you the audience. That's quite impressive, whoever worked that out. We did do Dance With Me Tonight by Ollie Murs in today's lyrics and today's commentary. And to end it, not just up the Borough, but up the Ollie Murs, I suppose. Just sums it up this evening.